This is life. This is life for me. It's so much better than running a crew of 19 men who don't want to really work, employees. It's a way that I can be out here and be with both rabbits, and chickens, and chicks, and create. So that we have places for birds to feed. We now have loons and beaver and all sorts of other creatures. And right over there is a highway. Ugh. Interstate 10. If you ever want to come visit when you're passing through the country, Salvage, Texas is hidden behind that. That's the back of the building, not finished because of other things going on. And look at the beautiful but noxious weed we call morning glories. Are these not beautiful? Look at them. And they're able to strangle everything around them if they can get to it. Watermelons, cantaloupe, and all that stuff. Now I let this grow up. I got to go grow it and cut it back. On the far side, when that's full, if that was slow enough to see, you can watch that on a video. One of the songs of Salvage, a song of Salvage by Adam, my son. You remember Adam? He's that really nice kid that sang that beautiful song. It's a poem I did. And he put it to music and played all the instruments, the guitar, the harmonica, and made it all happen on primitive equipment. Recorded it and everything in oh goodness, a long time ago, 2009. Anyway, I'd love for you to go see that, because it's all about, and you'll see that one video where I'm kayaking around in that beautiful thing, that wonderful 3/4 of a mile shoreline. Now, we're going for a walk, and the reason I'm here today is to talk about Labor Day. How many of you think Labor Day should be about working for $1 or for an employer? I don't. I think it should be about putting in your efforts, making your passion pay, and make it part of what you do because you want to do it, not because you have to feed your family or pay the bills. But a lot of people choose things that they want that cost them a lot of their freedom. Now, what's that mean? See, we're walking today, by the way. Grounding. These are my rabbits. They like digging little holes everywhere. I got a bunch of them now. I thought, why keep them all caged? I got more grass than I know what to do with, and they love eating grass and plants. So they're all running around out here now. A lot of them are. Now, I'm taking you for a walk. Why? Because I'm going to talk to you about changing the meaning of Labor Day. Hear the birds? We're starting to go into bird territory now. Nesting and mud swallows and all this stuff that hang out here now because there's water. Now, the last one I talked about was how we have to have water for life. And clay. Clay is water and clay inside of a membrane charged up with a filament. Yeah, a filament. That's like in a light bulb. When you see a light bulb, if you don't have any electricity running to it, you don't really know that little teeny wire inside of it in the old days would create an infrared, high infrared light, fire, that would actually charge your eyes and give your body energy. That's the old candles and all the old fire. Now we got LED lights. Not the same. Not the same. But that's another subject. I hope you can hear me when I do that. I want to talk to you a little more about this labor thing, because there's a lot of women about to go through labor that wouldn't have been doing that voluntarily if abortions hadn't been changed from a law standpoint. A lot of those women who would have had casual abortions are instead going to have to bear the children through, and I want them to have that opportunity to do so in a peaceful environment. What's peaceful mean? That means, not a lot of stress. In some cases, it's family and people judging you for all the things that you're going to do, and you may have to leave that child behind. That's one of the... I dug this out in September of 2019. That's about a 45-foot deep canyon, and it goes down to a giant rock I had planned to build a house under. Back to the story. Right now, there's at least 1 million babies that would not have made it through the fallopian tubes and into the womb and out into reality based on the average number of abortions. Now, Rocky, bring here. That's my boy. He's the being that came and helped me out when I needed a friend. Now that rock over there, way over there, see that water? That was just this little last rain. I've had that filled up almost to that rock with water. Now, this man, this boy, this male, put down. Hey, come on, you're showing somebody. Hey, you're gonna show off. What's up? Okay, normally he'll just let us have it. Okay, watch. Now, you ready? Now, watch. He's gonna look. That's a long ways down, guys. That dog will get down there. And there he is. So that's Rocky. Now, Rocky, come on, bring it back. He's one of the beings of the planet that I consider to be important. Lots of others. Babies, pets. And so when there's a fire and somebody's house is burning, leaving their dog or their cat in there is like leaving a child in there. It's a horrible thing. They're fur babies. There's lots of beings in the world. Lots of things you can't see that are there. Like those rocks. Now I had a vision. I wanted to find rocks. So you can see where the ground level was right over there. That's the spot. And there was a ground level. And that was ground level. And that was ground level. And that was ground level. So when you look, ground level minus 70 feet makes a pond and a cave. Another rock. Now this is the old canyon called Darby's Canyon. And through there is the mother of all rocks. And that particular rock, why, it has a cave under it. Imagine that. And that wasn't natural. Some crazy guy dug that up. You know what? It took him 2 whole months. Yeah, I know. That's a long time. Long time. You can see where the ground level was, kind of over there, right over there. And so imagine all that above that stick is fill. And that's some of the rocks. I found the little rocks, but the big rocks. Now, show off right here. Put it down. He loves to go all the way down there and fetch his toys. Now, you're going to demonstrate. No, let me have it. Rocky. Okay. Rocky, demonstrate. Ready? Okay. Now, ready, guys? Watch. He's really intense. Okay. That water would normally be a little bluer and more clear, but we just had a lot of rain and a lot of silt in it. So you can see inside of there, that framework, that will fill up all the way to that ledge be underwater when it rains, heavy rains later on. It catches about 230 acres of rainwater that would have gone into the San Marcos without being filtered from all the stuff that was coming off the highways and the parking lots, and a business over there that cleans up oil rigs. That was a gas station. And so all that water would just run off into the San Marcos and not get filtered. So now we got all sorts of plants and things like that to convert all those minerals and nasty things into life. It's called remediation. And that's all part of what this is about. How do you salvage your life? How do you salvage property to make new places you could live? Bring water in, create food jungles, and some of the things that you want to have. This is like a form of mimosa, except no thorns. And that's another version with really nasty thorns. And there was all sorts of plants out here that grew because it was basically inhospitable ground. Those things, believe it or not, just like politicians, they have a special name. Yeah. It's kind of on the basis of what you might think taking advantage of, being able to go ahead and take the worst of ground and create stuff. So you got mesquite, which you can actually take the mesquite beans and get protein out of. And there's a lot of the things that we see growing now, cattails and stuff like that now the beavers have moved in, love to pull because they get the roots. So all this water was all raw land, and that was ground level. Now, it's still ground level, but water comes up to that point. And this is Ridge Road. And all these canyons are made to go ahead and create ultimately runoff, but also growth areas, catchment areas, and once the grasses grow on them, a new environment. We'll have houses on that edge, and in the catchment that ultimately can have things growing in it. There's a bridge, and that goes across about 5 foot deep water. Now, above that is the ship of salvage dreams. And for those of you who are not aware, that was a construct of imagination. And that's from we had to get that off Gilligan's Island, man. That was quite the trick. The USS Minnow. But we dragged it over here because at night, the ship of salvage dreams, it flies. That's really over all these things you see. That's Walden Pond, and there's an island, can have a little house out there, and that wraps around, goes all the way around the back of Miracle Mountain. And Miracle Mountain is sort of a conical shape, as you might see, but it's also a Fibonacci spiral. And on top of that lies a ship that travels in the night and leaves hope everywhere it lands. Not hopium, but inspiration. That's the ship. Leads to it. You got to go through that. That's not actually a ship. No, that's the covered bridge over untroubled waters. The untroubled waters of Walden Pond. And that leads through the other side, and up on top of that is another pond, and even up there, Skinny Dip Pond. Our most famous video with no words. Yeah, I know. You did that? I did a video with no words. Yeah. More people watch that than me. More people watch that than any other video. Shh. What's that mean? So, as you look over here, people are staying in the Ark. That's the kid, and that's Ginger Swan, and that was a project that never has moved anywhere other than right there. And so you can see from here a better view. And what's crazy about all this is that this actually looks like normal land. Look at that. All this was dug out and back further. It was a gully at one time, and it was filled in by a foundry. And what's that mean? That means they left all sorts of junk in the ground. And when I say junk, I mean stuff like, look at that. These are pieces of metal that were dropped in here 30 years ago. Shavings from drills that haven't deteriorated. And this could mess up your feet if you weren't careful. Luckily, I walk with the angels. And so they help protect me from all these things that could go straight up through my foot. What does walk with the angels mean, by the way? Well, that means you use your instincts. So as you're walking, you just don't step on things like scorpions and thorns and other such things. Now, let me say, that goes 8 foot deep below this house into this vast gully complex. That dam I created to stop the flow of water without constraint, because it turns out the water is mixed in with a lot of nasty things. And so we feed it down into here where we have a lot of plants and stuff, and are able to go ahead and then trap it from going into the San Marcos River. Now likewise, hey, Traveler Trisha. Hey, hello, hello. I don't normally get to see many people on here because they don't show me everybody until later. That's one of the first houses we ever moved out here. And it is just made poorly as a model, not made as a prime example of what could be done, but what we did. That was actually 3 different types of siding that were on display. And in the back of the goats, hey guys. Yes, there's our babies. Don't want to not have you get on there. Okay, so we're still headed over here to the other pond, Dragon's Lair. And that's why I'll probably end this today, but it's a chance to go ahead and see, maybe get a feel and a touch. By the way, when you walk barefoot like this, and you walk past trees like this, they're just full of thorns, really sharp thorns that fall off on branches. You do what's called fox walk. You guys know what a fox walk is? There's hardly anybody on here. Hey, I see 2 people showing up maybe. Hey. This is a fox walk, so you learn how to walk this way barefoot initially, so you don't get thorns above your feet. It's like that, you want to avoid that. But I tell people all the time, if you want to get in the moment, walk barefoot. You'll pay attention every moment of your life. Is that a scorpion? Is that a cow ant? Do I want to step on that? Do I want to step on this? Until finally your instincts get so good that you learn to walk right in special areas, and not just walk flat-footed, but walk fox-footed. Side of your foot first, then down, or down like this. But it's best to walk like this. So if you do that, you hardly leave a print sometimes. He wants to play. Now we're coming into, by the way, this canal. That's the overflow So if Walden Pond gets too full, it comes across Tier 3.